We're going to talk about metal's most unpopular opinions today.
You up for listening to a bit of music?
Yeah. Where you going?
Here's a little number.
Faustian Spirit 1997 started with, I'm glad that Max Cavalera left Sepultura with him still on board. Stuff like Dante XXI, Alex, and Machine Messiah, all of which are albums I personally like, wouldn't have been a thing. Instead, we've got watered down attempts to recapture the magic of roots, ergo, the majority of Soulfly's discography. What do you think?
This is kind of a spicy one. Max Cavalera is still salty about this whole drama thing.
Yeah.
No Cavalera, no Sepultura, all right?
It's not over yet, basically.
Yeah. Now, they re-recorded some of their music recently, right?
Yes, so for Cavalera Conspiracy, they re-recorded a bunch of stuff. Let's play some clips from that right now. Everybody knows that Sepultura started off as just thrash gods. They went into the more, I would say, tribal new metal territory. And once Max left the band, things kind of went a little more up in the air with how they did things. Personally, I'm a huge fan of that era of the band after Max left.
I actually got into Sepultura right as Max was leaving, and their first album that I got from them was Against, which I think is kind of an overlooked record. There's some really heavy songs on there, and they still kind of had that like roots flair, but with their new vocalist, he has grown into his own dude. Like, he has just become such a monstrous vocalist.
Quadra's easily, like it or not, one of Sepultura's strongest records to date.
Like top 5, best of all their worlds. I think Soulfly started out really bad.
New metal.
They couldn't quite recapture that magic of roots, but they also couldn't escape that thrashy sound.
Especially later Soulfly.
Yeah, I think that there's eras of both bands that I like and dislike.
Oh, fuck, man. We need to slow this song down a little bit, man.
Ooh, here's a spicy one. Ian R439, he says, Mustaine needs to hire a special vocalist and concentrate on being the superb guitarist that he is. His voice simply can't hack it live anymore. What do we think? Let's go to the internet. The internet is the best time capsule to see if this is true.
It is, yeah.
All right, let's go to an old Megadeth video. We're going to go to a section of Holy Wars.
Nice.
This is from 1990.
Love this album, dude. Rest in peace, one of the best.
Sounds pretty good. Legendary. It was probably super fun to be there back in 1990. I would have been 3 years old.
Dang, yeah, same.
Probably would have been dead in the pit.
It's imagine like a 3-year-old running
Yeah,
around.
just tossing me in the pit. Yeah. So this is Dave Mustaine now, live at Wacken Open Air in 2023. Let's see how he sounds with Holy Wars now. Wait a second. Lower tuning.
That's got to be a step lower.
A lot of bands in their twilight years, this is nothing to be ashamed of. It's honestly a good tactic to do for preserving your voice and still being able to perform.
Dude, since the dawn of music.
It happens.
Since the dawn of music, people have been tailoring the key of the music to the voice.
To their strength point of their voice.
That's the way it is.
There's nothing to be ashamed of there.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
He doesn't sound good.
No.
I don't know if the tuning saved them. I know he's in rough shape. Physically is in rough shape. He's had surgeries. His voice was always really unique. Dude, singing takes so much more than just like moving your mouth and lips and tongue. Like
it does.
It's like an upper body thing. And great singers, you'll see them, they'll fucking sweat their ass off because they are working their entire chest and body.
And not only that, he's playing one of the most iconic metal songs ever written.
And complicated.
We're not shitting on him, but just for scientific purposes, we're comparing the two.
Yeah.
Ooh. I love you, Dave, but I think I might have to lean towards at least just getting well. You know, like,
right.
I don't want to say let's just pull him out of the picture because honestly, you're not Megadeth without the voice of Dave Mustaine. I would say don't hire a special vocalist. Maybe hire a specialist to get better at your voice so that you can still hack it and play the great tunes that we all love.
Now, Deathcore is fucking horrible. It's not good music. It's just a ripoff, a fucking ripoff of death metal with breakdowns.
Crispy Ash 7110.
Deathcore Live is an infinitely better musical experience live than listening casually. I freaking love Deathcore, but I don't think it would be listened to as much if people never could see it live.
I am coming from the camp of not really liking deathcore. So my wife bought us tickets to go see Lorna Shore over the holidays. I always thought Lorna Shore was a talented band. It was just never really my thing. After seeing them live, it changed my opinion.
Oh, 100%, dude. I couldn't believe the amount of pure skill that these guys have. And I think that Lorna Shore stands out in that they have a really unique vocalist with Will Ramos. But dudes, their players are like top tier in the game right now.
And it was fun.
Wicked fun, yeah.
Like, the vibe was Christmas, which was hilarious, but there was Christmas lights everywhere.
Yeah.
People were throwing, like, Santa hats. It was awesome.
It was cool, man. Kind of reminded me of those, like, early hardcore metal blending shows where you would have some hardcore bands and some metal bands. Back then, it was competition.
It was.
And now it feels very harmonious.
It's a celebration of the genre.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is people in deathcore who perform it, they're not very snobby. They like love death metal. They're super chill. But if you ask a death metal fan if they like deathcore, it's like very different opinions.
They're offended.
Yes. So to your point, love death metal. I will always love death metal. But you know what? I'm starting to kind of dig the vibes from deathcore, especially live. It's a lot of fun. Let's throw on Slaughter to Prevail.
I've scoped their albums. I've enjoyed their albums. It's not something I revisit a lot.
Me
but
either.
like seeing it live is probably fun as hell.
Dude, I would love to see this. Having a blast. She's having the time of her life right now.
Yeah.
Dude, like the rhythm, the energy, you can get that in other genres, but that is kind of the point of deathcore. That's like the pleasure center of going to a hip hop show.
Dude, I was just going to compare it to like EDM. It's not the best music, but when you're there and you're live and you're feeling that like vibration of like the subwoofers, it's just like,
it hits.
Shit.
Let's do another example. Fit for an Autopsy. This is a more intimate show. If you ever been to a small show where everybody's super into it, I feel like that's the most fun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a little stage. Nice.
Yup. When you're just hanging with your pals, having a great time, that's really what this genre brings to the table. And I couldn't agree more with that sentiment that I think deathcore live is like really where it shines. Don't shit on it. Go to a deathcore show. It might change your mind.
Somewhere throughout this 8-year period, Morbid Angel thought to themselves, you know, that death metal's nice, but I kinda wanna try Darkwave.
All right, this one is divisive. Braggin Writes Music says Illid Divinum Insanus is a great album. This is by Morbid Angel. This is a divisive take. Big time. Morbid Angel fans shit all over this opinion. People who love Altars of Madness, Domination, Blessed Are the Sick, all of the early Morbid Angel records, and even some of the later ones too are pretty sick. This is like heresy. But on the contrary, if you listen to it without calling it a Morbid Angel record, there's some sick moments.
It's bizarre to me when bands that aren't industrial bands try to do like the industrial thing. I don't hate this record, but
It's weird.
it's bizarre. Yeah.
There are a lot of moments on here that remind me of like the industrial death metal vibe of like Soul of a New Machine era Fear Factory.
Yep.
Except that album is so good.
Infinitely better
Yeah.
than this.
But like, check this out. The guitar riffs you can tell are absolutely Morbid Angel, but you've got this weird like knocking digital kind of sound of the drums.
Morbid Angel is like the home of like Pete Sandoval, these like monumental drummers. So when they introduce a TR-808 or whatever into the mix, people lost their minds.
It's weird, but you still have moments where the band shines through. That's pretty awesome. You can't tell me for a second that that's not the spirit of old school Morbid Angel.
For sure.
There are flashes in the pan all over the album that definitely show that.
That's nasty.
Yep.
Very like Where the Slime Live kind of.
Yes. What I think is going to happen is this album is going to find a home eventually with Morbid Angel fans. We're starting to get weird pockets of people who love Saint Anger now. I don't understand it, but it's true. I think this album's going to see the same thing. I wouldn't call it a great album, but it's fine.
AM Dram Slam. Necrophages shouldn't be held responsible for the inferior technical noodling they inspired.
I agree with this if we were saying this statement in the early to mid 2000s. Fast forward to now, I do not agree. I think Archspire took this torch and made it better than Necrophagus ever dreamed of.
We're definitely at a point like where we have seen the coming and going of the Necrophagus trend.
There's people who don't even know who they are at this point.
I never even thought about that because we were so inundated. That was the thing in the early 2000s. Dude,
everybody was doing it.
You could not escape Necrophagus if you were into extreme metal.
Now we've got bands that are making tech death fun, which some people think is like fucked up, but honestly, I think this is where it needs to go.
Yeah. It was too sterile for me, man.
That's my biggest issue with it. Now it's got hooks. I understand that's weird to say, but it's still highly technical. I think it's harder to write a song that is this technical, but still vibes.
It has an earworm part, at least. The hand switching. It's not even fair.
Like, what the fuck? Those little breakdown sections of saying the name of the song.
Right. Where the rest of it's like, you know, and then you have a spot where it's like, this is the title.
Yeah. And you know what's cool is the solos in this band, they work really hard to make them memorable. That interplay between the crazy, hyper fast, like staccato vocal delivery, almost like Busta Rhymes of death metal, basically.
It is, yeah.
Contrasted against highly melodic, almost emotional guitar leads. That's really where this genre needed to go. Now that you got bands doing this.
It's finally, the eagle has landed, folks, in the tech death department, because for so damn long, dude, I couldn't like emotionally connect with it because it was so sterile and...
Yeah.
I can only listen to this so many times before it starts to sound like a fucking rehearsal to me. Yeah, they're fun the first couple times to hear, like, oh my God, that stop there is amazing. And then
then where's the hook upon the 4th, 5th, 6th,
Yeah.
7th listen? It feels like I'm at like a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, music for musicians is a trap. It's one of the reasons why I don't like a lot of progressive metal. Bands like Dream Theater, I just have such a hard time with because I feel like it's written for people who play the music, not for people who are enjoying it. Amazing and underappreciated genre. If you want to see a video on the best modern tech death bands, drop a comment down below. We might do that.
Go with the gods, Forge mates. The drone corpse aviator is flying high.